want to continue on the teachings of the types of mothers. You will recall 2 weeks ago, we had started on the mother theme, the types of mothers. In fact, we started on the mother theme in May already because May is Mother's Month, and I started with the mother wound. What is a mother wound? You might want to look at that video, especially if you are new here. Welcome. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And then we also I took you through the types of mothers. So you may want to listen or watch those videos first if you have some time. And then you can join us here on this one where I am talking literally about the unmothered mothers. 2 weeks ago, we started with the types of mothers, and I introduced you to the types of unavailable mothers. And today, I want us to take it a layer deep and get into the unmothered mothers. Now, before I even explain the difference, because there's a subtle difference, there's a definitive difference between an unmothered mother and an unavailable mother. Even though an unmothered mother becomes an unavailable mother, it's important to understand those distinctions so that you know when you start healing, when you start seeking for healing, going for coaching, or for some sort of healing, the mother wound, or, even if it's not necessarily going for healing, but when you want to improve your own mothering, to become a better mother to your own children, or to have some compassion for your own mother, you understand how deep their issue is. And I mean, this is just a YouTube video. It's about 10 minutes or so. We are not going to get into the deep issues. If you really want to get into the deep issues, I would encourage you to please join me on Patreon, join my Patreon community, and then maybe take it even further and book a session with me so we can just unpack these things for you, especially when you know for a fact that your issues are around you and your mother, or you and your mothering, you and your children. These things are important, guys, to heal. There's a joke in the psychology field. I'm not a psychologist, but I know a lot about psychology. There's a joke in the psychology field that says, if it's not one thing, it's the mother. If you have issues in life and you're triggered by everything and you're stuck somewhere and you need healing, if it's not one thing, it's the mother. And you get it right. It's a play on that phrase that says, if it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not one thing, it's the mother. So perhaps let me start with, because I made some notes here so that I don't go off a tangent and I don't go for far too long. So I want to maybe start with the distinctions between an unavailable mother and an unmothered mother. And then we will then take it to some of how an unmothered mother manifests. If you're dealing with an unmothered mother, what are the signs? How does she manifest in your life? Or how do you know that this one, she has some issues. She has not been mothered herself. And this, that you will approach it with the deepest compassion. I think, I think mothers get a lot of flag, sometimes rightfully so. But sometimes mothers need to be approached with the utmost love and the utmost healing energy and the utmost compassion, particularly when you understand what she's dealing with. Okay, now, last week we spoke about an unavailable mother. So what is the distinction? What is an unavailable mother versus an unmothered mother? An unavailable mother is a mother that's actually there. So you do have a mother, you know her, she lives with you in the same house, but she's unavailable in terms of her time. So you find that a very busy mother, a workaholic mother, that's the example I made last time, a busy mother, a high executive, someone whose work takes up almost most of her time. So she's great at providing, great at being there. She's your mother, she is there, you can see you are modeling and you are learning from her. You are almost also becoming like her in a way, because we model our mothers from very, very young. But she's unavailable. Her time is taken up by other things like her work. I mentioned another example that you find that your mother is very, very involved in church, or she's a pastor herself, or she's a pastor's wife. So in that case, both your parents are not necessarily available for you. They are available for the entire community congregation, but not necessarily for you. So that's a form of unavailability, but she is there. Are you with me? You are being mothered. You are being mothered. You are just being mothered in an unavailable way, if you could just appreciate that. Another example of an unavailable mother is obviously a mother who's involved in the community, in politics. I made an example of Mama Winnie Mandela. that she was a mother to the nation, and I'm wondering if she was a mother to Zenani and Zinzi. And another way of not being available is obviously emotional availability. And emotional availability then is another layer deep. That's when the unmothered mother comes in. Now, what is an unmothered mother? What are the examples of an unmothered mother? So some of the things I have mentioned here is that an unmothered mother is literally that someone who did not have a mother. So it could be literally, as in you were born and your mother maybe passed away during birth, or your mother passed away at a very, very young age. And unfortunately for you, you grew up with that thing of not having a mother. You were raised by your father. So you were raised by your father or by your siblings or by your elder sister or your elder brother or whatever the case is. So there was literally no mother in the house. That is your reality. You grew up without a mother. There was not even ugogo. So that is literally an unmothered mother. The people in your life did not even try to play the mother role. So you see the mother on TV or next door or through your friends. It's always vicarious. It is not lived. It's not experiential in your own home. So that's example one, which is literal. Example two, an unmothered mother is someone whose mother was absent in ways that are different to an unavailable mother, are different to the examples that I've told you. So you find a mother who probably had a serious, and I mean serious, mental illness. She was just not there. She struggled with maybe deep depression or some form of mental unavailability. And as such, she just could not mother you. You just don't know. She is a human being in your space, but she's not performing the mothering role. So the mothering, you want to be mothered. Literally, you can be mothered in a horrible way, but you are mothered. So that one is not even mothering you. She's just a person in the room or in the house. Okay. I know this is an extreme case, but it is to prove a point of how extreme an unmothered person is. Another example of having an unmothered mother is a mother who, let's say the mother has passed away or the mother is like not fully there, but no one else is playing a mother role. Let's say you are raised by a auntie or some other family or something, but no one really plays a true mother role for you. You are just being raised by everybody, and no one is standing up and taking up and nurturing you like a mother figure would. So you might not have had your physical mother, but then there would be someone who is playing a mother figure role. You are not in that category. Are you with me? So if your auntie or your even elder sister or a neighbor or an adopted person plays active mother role to a point of even asking me to call them mom, you are mothered. You are just not mothered by your own biological mother, which brings up certain different stories for you, different issues later in life. Because all these things, I'm telling you guys, if it's not one thing, it's the mother. Which is why in that other video, I emphasize that the mother wound is the wound to heal. You heal that, you are well on your way with a lot of things, right? Another example, I think I have a fourth example. Completely abandoned. Okay, so the final example of an unmothered mother is a mother who was there physically, mentally okay, but is in the grips of something that makes her not be able to mother you, something like addictions. You do find mothers who are alcoholics or who are addicted to some sort of substances, or mothers but whatever it is that is gripping her is make it impossible to mother you, completely impossible to mother you. So you are unable to model, you don't know what being mothered truly is. So it is an extreme version of unavailability. I'm sure you can appreciate the difference. Now, what do those mothers then do when they grow up and they become mothers themselves? Because, we are survivors as women. We survive. I just want to show you my notes so that you don't think I'm reading from a book. So as we then grow up and we become mothers ourselves. We meet people, we make babies, and we become mothers. So how then does a person who never had a mother, who was unmothered, what kind of a mother do you become? There are many categories. I mean, these things, like I always say to you, are big and broad, but I've narrowed it to about 4 types of unmothered mother or how they manifest. So there's the wounded provider. So that mother becomes a wounded provider. What does that mean? That means she believes in just provision. So she becomes the mother father. Story for another video. When mothers become fathers, I will create a video. Like, I think that would be a nice title, actually. I'll create a different video for that. But just for this purposes of this video, it is a mother who will give you everything you need in terms of provision. You will be provided for, you'll have a roof, you'll have everything you need to the best of her abilities. It actually, to the best of her abilities, that doesn't mean luxury. So that's a different category of a mother, and I'll get to it. It just means to the best of her abilities, she will give you, she'll provide for you. It reminds me of a video that was doing around, a clip, a reel that was doing around on social media about this girl. I think it was something from Moja Love, and there was some intervention there, and this young lady was just crying. I mean, mother wound in reality, crying so hard and saying, Mama, how so kawarwan rata? I will find that video somewhere, or I think you can find it somewhere on TikTok. This person is crying, saying, Mama, you've never said one rata, how so kawarwan rata? And then this mother is like unfazed and very, very serious and very cold and looks at the presenter of the show and says, ke mo file mokhuku ke mo reketse ntlo ke na le ntlo tse 2 one ke ya gage o dula mo le bana ba gage ke tsa sure gore go na le di-room a di renta a etse tšhelete mara o batla gore ke a mo rata a ratiwe ke bona batho bao, something along those lines, and I know I'm butchering it, but it is the essence of what what the video was about. And that is a classic case. If we go deeper into that mother, you'd find that she was unmothered somehow, or she had a serious case of an unavailable mother, one of those. But it would be interesting to know, what's underneath there. But the girl, Shem, she was crying. All she wants to hear is, I love you. I love you, Nana. Why? Because mother is love. You'll remember in one of the videos, I think the first video, when I explained what is a mother is the giver of life. If you are not loved by the life itself, by the giver of life itself, you are in some serious, serious trouble. Mother is your first love. And that's why that girl wanted to hear an I love you. And I know of many people. I have a few clients who would say things to me like, my mother has never said I love you. But she does things for me. She took me to varsity, but I would really appreciate a hug. My mother has never hugged me, type of things. So those are unmothered mothers. They have never had a modeling of what it is to be mothered. A workaholic, unavailable mother is modeling something, and then that's what you then do to your children until we start healing these little pathologies. Okay, so that's one. The second type of an unmothered mother, when she's a mother, is the performer stroke perfect mother, the perfect mother. And perfect or performer, and I'll tell you why I say performer sometimes. It's because she will only show some form of affection, some form of love when their kids are perfect. I mean, you've probably seen that type of mom collocationing if it wasn't your mother. The one who, whenever she comes from work, the first thing she looks at is if stupusa shina, if the pizza dia shina, if you are clean, if you just everything must just be perfect. Because to her, that is what probably mothering is, because she's never really seen it modeled. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. And then they tend to then think that maybe being a good mother is to have perfection, perfect children. And it goes obviously even further into the schooling of the child must get A. The type of mother that if you come home and you show your mom your report card and you got 97%, and instead of saying, oh my God, you're an A student, 97%, the mother is going to say, where are the other 3? Where's the other 3%? You're supposed to get 100%. And thus, they mean it. They want perfect children. And they themselves are modeling some form of impossible perfection. Never smiles, very cold generally. And that is somehow signs of an unmothered mother. Okay. And then the third type of an unmothered mother show up as the invisible mother, and this is because growing up, she was invisible. There was no mother. She was not mothered. She was in a scenario where she was raised by literally everybody. And the best way to survive was just to be a little invisible. And so also as a mom, you literally want to hide. You don't show up for anything for your children. You might provide the best way you can, but you are just not there. You don't attend parents' meeting, you don't attend anything. You are not interested. You are just missing in action. You're invisible. You're the invisible mother. Show no interest in anything that the child does. Ujele o kgotse, o na le roof. It's fine. So it sort of links to the wounded mother, but there are those subtleties, the wounded provider. There's slight subtleties. Again, the subtleties and the distinctions and the differences will you see them when you deal with your own specific case with your coach or with me if you come to me. Okay. And then the last type is the overcompensator mom. And we have a lot of those. I see more of those in my practice than the other types. The other types, I see them, but I find that our generation is a generation of overcompensators. Now, what's an overcompensator mother? That generally that mother was unmothered somehow. So you don't know, you don't have boundaries. These are the mothers who will give children what they never had. And the challenge with that is that a child does not want you to give them what you never had. A child just wants you to give them what they need. And so you have overcompensating mothers do not have the ability to read the child's emotional need or even physical needs. Like they just flood you with everything that you absolutely do not need. And that is a way of covering up the fact that you have no capacity to mother. You don't know what you're doing. And half the time we don't know what we're doing as mothers because we don't know, we are just I almost want to take that statement back because I think mothering is so natural. And when we are in tuned, when we are healed, when we are present mothers, we actually don't need to be taught. I live with cats. I have cats and I learn a lot from cats. And as this YouTube channel grows, I'm going to be bringing my cat lessons and you're going to be seeing my cats. Once I get a proper camera, a vlogging camera, the cats are going to be part of the Livupile channel. The reason I'm mentioning cats is that cats are amongst the best mothers in the mammal species. And I've had cats for about 3 years now, and I've seen them give birth and I've seen them mother kittens. And oh my God, it is a marvel. It is a marvel to see. And the reason I'm mentioning this, and I will do a separate video about mother cats, but the reason I'm mentioning this is to almost correct myself when I said we are not taught how to be mothers. I think being a mother is a very, very, very natural thing that we have forgotten along the way. We are wounded. There's a lot going on such that you think it's difficult to be a mother. It's actually the most natural thing you can do. You know what your child needs. You're so connected to your child, even when they are old. That's why, when you're an in tune mother, I'll give you an example with me. I've always been praised that I'm a great mom by not only my children, almost everybody in here who's part of my life. I think I do have a mother archetype. I do mother even my clients, even my friends to a certain extent. And when I never dream about my children, unless there's something going on. Whenever I dream about solo, I know it means something. That dream will tell me what exactly is going on. When I dream about Tebe, I know that something is up. When I dream about Dao, that's the only time I dream about my kids. But that is the connection we have. Some mothers, you'll be at work and doing your thing, and then you'll feel something offish. And then you'll know something is off with your son or your child or something. So we have this innate in us. It just got lost in translation, lost in wounds, lost in modern society, lost in going to work, lost in bastioning, lost in capitalism, lost in everything. And that's why we get unmothered mothers, unavailable mothers, you name it, mothers. And that's why we are not building the families that we need to build. And by families, I don't necessarily mean being married with, nuclear family, but we are the mothers of the nation. We are the builders of homes. We are the builders of society. And we are the ones that need healing. I know that men need healing, but I think when women heal, and I have said this before in one of the videos, when women heal, the entire society heals. When mothers heal, you literally have a new world in your hands. And that's why I am doing the mother wound work so deeply and women work. And if you're still here and if you're still watching, in August, I'll be doing an event via Zoom. My energies are not there yet to do something physical. In fact, this whole year is just very interesting energetically. But I'll be doing something via Zoom, some meditation, some healing, some teaching, and I would like you to come. Please look out for the poster. I will be advertising it pretty soon, towards the end of June and early July. I would love to see you on Zoom. Let's do some healing work. Let's do a different Women's Month event where it's about meditation, it's about prayer, it's about healing, it's about teaching things that truly, truly matter. Okay, and this is it for today's teaching, for today's Sunday teaching. If you want to discuss further, go ahead and join Patreon. This video will be on Patreon for members only. So the discussions happen with people who are members. You'll see what being a member is. Just go to Patreon and join one of the memberships. Join the seedling if you're brand new, or you can choose a tier that speaks directly to your heart. And you'll find all my other teachings there. There is a ton of content, both written, audio, and video. Until then, this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.